Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to the High Council, and today we are going to be talking about the High Republic and everything that we know about it so far. If you guys like these type of videos, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and turn on post notifications so you can keep up to date with these type of videos and everything else Star Wars related. And let's get right into it. Alright guys, so keep in mind before we start the video, all of this is about books and comics so far, but hopefully they'll make it into movies, TV shows, and video games, because that is what most Star Wars fans want. And although the next Star Wars movie is to be aired in 2022, we have no details as to what it could be, but if anything, it could just be more Skywalker Saga content, like a standalone film for Mace Windu or Yoda. Or it could even be a High Republic film, we don't know, but we do know that the next Star Wars film will be in 2022. So if that all out of the way, let's talk about the High Republic. It is set about 200 years before the Phantom Menace, which means that we might see Yoda as a Jedi, because he said he's been teaching Jedi for 800 years and was 900 in The Empire Strikes Back. Also, Maz Kanata may appear also, because she was over 1000 years old in The Force Awakens. Although I find it hard to see these characters, as the stories of the High Republic are supposed to bring new, unique characters, and their stories are from the Skywalker Saga. Although this doesn't mean that there might be a cameo from Yoda or Maz. In the High Republic era, the Jedi and Republic were very well respected, and it was said that the Jedi were at their peak in this time. The Jedi were good, noble, and peacekeepers in the High Republic, which is different to the Jedi we have seen in the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. According to Lucasfilms, we will see a wide variety of Jedi in this era. What they mean by this is that we'll see like a lot of different types of Jedi that we're not used to, that we've seen before in the Clone Wars and everything else in the Skywalker Saga.
Galaxy to the other. It's a bit of a Wild West new frontier. We see a different kind of Jedi that patrols the frontiers and is more of a Texas Ranger.
That's an example of some of the wide variety of Jedi that we'll get to see in this era, which is very exciting because we're used to just more warmongering Clone Wars Jedi who are generals, but now we'll get to see a lot more. As well, in the trailer, they have a whole house of writers with different visions for Star Wars. There will be a lot of stories, they said, not only of Jedi, but also new smugglers, villains, and bounty hunters, which is really very exciting. Arriving fall 2020, the story will be explored through multiple voices and span adult and young adult novels, children books, and comics from a variety of publishers. Anyone else who lives in the Southern Hemisphere, it won't release in fall, but specifically August 27th to August 30th, and what will they be releasing, you may be asking. Well, they will release 5 books/comics shown on screen right now, and will release more in the future as time goes on. Let's take a look at some of the concept art that we've seen so far for the High Republic. Judging from that, there will be a very vast amount of new and returning alien species, even a Wookiee Jedi, although it has been seen before in the Clone Wars TV show. There will be a big variety of unique hilts and saber colors as well, which is very exciting because in the Clone Wars we've only really seen a few colors: purple, blue, green, and red. And also Yaddle, one of the council members, had orange, but that wasn't really shown. Alright, now let's talk about some of the characters that we know about so far. So we got 5 character names and descriptions, and also 2 other character names of Jedi, and also the Nile, which are the villains and like the bad guys in this story.
Our main villain are the group called the Nile. We kind of like to refer to them as space Vikings.
Their motto is, you can't take it with you, but we can take it from you.
It seems like they'll be the criminals and the bounty hunters and smugglers of this era. Also in the trailer, there was some concept art of things that scare the Jedi, possibly monsters or even the Sith.
Is the question, what scares the Jedi? And that made us all go, ooh, something wicked this way comes.
So with that out of the way, let's get into some of the characters that we have descriptions of and pictures of. So, firstly we have Avar Kriss. She has a green lightsaber, her race is human, and she has blonde hair with white and yellow Jedi robes. These descriptions were on the Star Wars databank. Avar is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She always tries to see the good in people and situations, and never puts herself first. She is invigorated about life on the frontier and the challenges it brings, and is an inspiration for those who work with her. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. Avar Kriss is the best of the best. From that, we can probably tell that Avar is probably one of the main characters. This is probably why they put out her information. It seems like she's probably a Jedi Knight, not a Master yet, but definitely a Jedi Knight. She probably has a Padawan, and like we'll see that in the books and stuff. Alright, now let's talk about Stellan Giles. He has a unique hilt with a cross guard. Unlike Kylo Ren's lightsaber, it isn't actually the lightsaber, but his hilt material, and his saber color is blue. He is human with brown hair and white and yellow Jedi robes. Stellan is an optimistic and well-respected Jedi Master. Stellan came up through the Order with Avar Kriss, and although they are often on different assignments for the Jedi or the Republic, when the two work together, they are a powerhouse team of two noble heroes in action. Strong in the Force and a natural teacher, Stellan is currently stationed at one of the Jedi Temple outposts on a distant planet of Karagun Vinar. He looks quite young to be a Jedi Master, and also he got brought up with Avar Kriss, so maybe she's also a Jedi Master, but we don't know that yet. Anyway, it seems like he will be like Anakin. He's like pretty powerful, and also Avar Kriss, she also seems like she'll be like Anakin, just like an inspiration to Jedi and everyone like around them, but not like turning to the dark side. They'll always be noble, and yeah, seems pretty interesting, his story, and who he will be. And let's get on to the next character. Vernesta Vern Raw has a blue lightsaber, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but is a new unknown race. She has green skin, purple eyes, and purple hair, and is wearing yellow and white Jedi robes. Vern is a newly minted Jedi Knight. Vernesta Mirillion was Padawan to Stellan Giles. She works hard and is devoted to the Jedi Order, more so than most others her age. At 16, she's one of the youngest knights in a generation. She struggles to fit in with the adults while also setting a good example for the younger Jedi. I reckon this girl will be similar to Ahsoka in the Clone Wars TV show, although minus being a Padawan, she's going to be a Jedi Knight. And at age 16, that was like around Ahsoka's age. Like, she's very young to be a knight. Like, that's very rare. Like, that's only like Anakin, because Anakin was a knight, I think, around then. So yeah, interesting to see her story. And let's get on to the next character. Loden Greystorm has a unique fluorescent yellow lightsaber. He's a Twi'lek and has a green bluish skin and is wearing white yellow robes. Loden is a Twi'lek Jedi Master and is considered to be one of the best teachers in the Jedi Order. Strong and wise, with a good sense of humor, Loden looks at every moment as a learning experience, always trying to better himself and those around him, especially his Padawan. It seems like Loden will be basically the Yoda of this era, although maybe even Yoda will be connected to their council, or maybe even a knight or a master. But yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to see Loden, because it seems like he'll be Yoda and like the best Jedi out there, like the wisest Jedi out there. And finally, Keeve Trennis. She has a rare double-bladed green lightsaber, which is rare among the Jedi because it is associated with the Sith. Only Ponkrell and Basilisk Shan in canon have a double-bladed lightsaber. Her race is human, and she has unique hair with one side shaved and the other wavy. She's also wearing brown and white Jedi robes, unlike the others who wore yellow and white. Keeve is a young firebrand Jedi, believed to have a great future ahead of her, if only she would believe it herself. Quick-witted and more impulsive than she should be, Keeve has only been a Jedi Knight for a few weeks, and is a little starstruck around Avar, knowing many of great things Kriss has done in the past. She's determined to prove herself to Avar and the other legendary Jedi stationed on Starlight Beacon, but first she must learn to trust in herself as much as she trusts the Force. It seems like Avar and Keeve will be in the first book together, and possibly the Great Disaster has something to do with the Starlight Beacon, because we see Avar in the book cover, and some other Jedi, and in the background there's the Starlight Beacon, or a space station. We're not sure what it is, but that may be possibly Starlight Beacon, and Keeve Trennis has something to do with the Great Disaster or something like that. And I forgot to mention what the Great Disaster was. It has something to do with the plot, and that's pretty much all we know about the plot so far. There's some other things, but I'll go into that later. But yeah, I'll play the video here for you.
Our story starts with what we're calling the Great Disaster.
It wouldn't be Star Wars without adventure. And there's definitely a series of events that will spin the galaxy into a dangerous new direction, and it'll give the opportunity for heroes to rise up.
So that's everything that we know so far about the Great Disaster, which will be definitely the starting plot of the High Republic era, which is where everything will start, and there'll be other plot things as well, and like everything else. But yeah, also, speaking of plot, look at this in the trailer. It also has something to do with the plot and some things that we'll see in the books and comics.
The threat and the tension really comes from the Republic's borders, because the Republic does not extend from one side of the galaxy to the other.
It's a bit of a Wild West new frontier. We see a different kind of Jedi that patrols the frontiers and is more of a Texas Ranger.
That really just speaks for itself, so I can't really go in depth of what that means. But anyway, also in the trailer, they showed a whiteboard in the writer's house that I mentioned before, and they have some dot points which may lead us to some more plot devices that they will use and things that will be involved in these stories in the High Republic era and the books and comics. So as we see here, there's 3 columns for different things, I guess. There's fiction. I think that's basically what they want their characters to be, and like some things with the story that they want. Then they've got Star Wars with a love heart. I think that's like things that they really want to be added because it's like OG Star Wars. So there's like droids, not pro-war. So it's like very Jedi-like, unlike what we're used to in the Clone Wars. Then we've got scope, which probably refers back to the wide variety of Jedi and the Texas Ranger. So there'll be a wide scope of Jedi and a wide scope like across the galaxy of stories. As well, we've got mythic. After that, we've got space/lightsaber battles, which would be very interesting. And then on the right side, there's university dinosaurs. That's very, probably like monsters and stuff. I don't know what they'll do with dinosaurs. Probably the universities like the Jedi Temple, rival houses, Sith Empire. So there's probably going to be Sith, possibly Darth Plagueis and his master, because Darth Plagueis was Darth Sidious's master, and Darth Sidious is Emperor Palpatine, if you didn't know. And then the Splinter Group Force users, possibly not Jedi or even the Sith, possibly just like someone, like a group of people who don't follow the Jedi or Sith, but are Force sensitive, and they use that to their advantage. Sounds pretty interesting. There's also Chaos agents. They remind me of the ISB agents in Battlefront 2, so maybe they might be something like that, but yeah. Also, when they mention Sith Empire, I don't think there's a Sith Empire right now, because there's only the Republic, and the Empire, the one that Darth Sidious ruled, that was in number 4, 5, and 6, and 3. So I don't understand why they'll be putting Sith Empire. But yeah, the Sith will definitely have something to do with like the plot, and also they mentioned complicated monsters. That's pretty weird. It might have something to do with the dinosaurs and the concept art that we saw before, with like those weird ass monsters. Probably something to do with that. And yeah, that's gonna have to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and show some feedback. If you guys want a part 2 for this, maybe like some rumors or leaks, possible leaks that have been like seen, and maybe we can make a part 2. Like for part 2, like for fucking the High Council. We love you guys, and the Force will be ever with you, and also the Council will decide your fate in the next video. Peace out.